Politics 101 begins in 2022 with a revelation. And Democrat voters anyway, I've been a Democrat for longer than Bernie Sanders. But you can characterize the Democrat leaders the way I will in 2 words. They're insane. Or to be more charitable, the leaders are so un-American, they should not be in government. Not American government anyway. They think that there are more than 2 sexes. You know that is wrong. Some of them know that is wrong too, but they still make governance based on this goofball thinking, 4 years old, that there really are a multiplicity of sexes, not 2. It's insane. It's insane to think that looting is a proper expression of anger. But that's what Democrat mayors and Democrat officials in government beyond the mayoralty have allowed. Now, I will make an exception, and it may be a large one, that it's possible that most Democrat leaders don't really believe either of those things, but they go along with it anyway. They're part of a club that, because leftists are a media-agenic group, this club protects them. They don't speak out against it. So what good is having such leaders when they don't lead and they follow the insane far left? Take your money is another thing that the Democrat leaders do. And most heinous is taking it and giving it to people who don't want to work. That is un-American. Listening to school administrators who keep claiming that Zoom education is just as good for children ages 5 through 10 as being in a classroom with one another. Now, once again, a lot of Democrat leaders don't believe this, but they go along with it because the teachers' unions are such an important voting bloc to them. Even if they are sane leaders, those who kowtow to this extreme element don't deserve to be pulling the strings of government. And speaking of education, it is insane to think that school administrators who rarely even set foot in a K through 6 classroom, that they know what's best for your child compared to the parents. But that too is the progressive leaders' refrain. That's why they impose things against parents' will. We shouldn't be letting them in power. And the fact that they have been in power, this ruling class, for a decade, ask, is it giving us any benefit? Has America in the last 10 years become safer? Has it become more prosperous? Are our kids better educated? Are we happier? I think the answer is no to every one of those. We are not meant to be governed by a permanent elite class. Why do immigrants come here? It's in great part because the opportunity afforded by those who don't want to rule, and America has traditionally been that kind of governance, that it wasn't a matter of taking from the public. That has changed, and an enlarged elite class that stays in government and keeps their friends who are outside of government but can get rich with contracts, they support one another, and the losers are every one of us. If you're going to have an elite group of those who govern us, well, at least choose normal ones. I have had the privilege of being with some presidential candidates. In 2016, I was in New Hampshire covering the primaries. So I met every one of the candidates except Trump. And every one of the Republicans, looking for the highest office in the land, was down to earth. Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Carly Fiorina, George Pataki, Rand Paul, Ben Carson, Mike Huckabee, Chris Christie, Scott Walker. These were down-to-earth people. On the other side, the candidates were just the opposite. Bernie Sanders, whose writings were perverse, still are, and Hillary Clinton, who you can't get a straightforward, non-calculating sentence out of her in public. Normal people inhabit the Republican Party and are worth giving a shot. If you haven't thought about voting Republican in a long time, please look at what voting Democrat has done and what it will do with an even larger elite and powerful over the rest of us class getting voted in over and over again. Please think a second time. I'm Mark Stewart Greenstein.